Let's start. Today's topic is structure of a C program. Okay, there are six categories. What are the documentation, preprocessor section, definition, global declaration, main function, and subroutines? Let's discuss about each. First is documentation. This information is provided at the beginning of the program as comments. There are two types of command line available. What are the single line comment? This part includes details about the program, either its name or date and time it was created. Anything written as comments will be treated as documentation of the program, and this will not interfere with the given code. Basically, it gives an overview to the reader of the program. To add a comment, simply put two forward slashes in front of the text you wish to comment on. Example, here, here is a single line comment. This text is comment. To comment this line, we have to put two forward slashes in front of the text. Next, multi-line comment. This allows for comments to span multiple lines within the code. Any content placed between a forward slash and the asterisk and conclude with an asterisk and a forward slash is considered as a comment and will be disregarded by the compiler. Here is the example. In the front, there is one forward slash and asterisk, and in the end, there is an asterisk and forward slash. Okay. Next, preprocessor section. The preprocessor section of the program will include all the header files. These header files allow us to incorporate enhanced code from other sources into our own. Before the compilation process begins, copies of these various files are added to our program. Example, has include stdio.x and has include math.x. In this case, has is the preprocessor directive and include is a keyword which include the standard input-output header file to our program. Next, definition. Preprocessors are tools that handle our source code prior to compilation. Preprocessor directive begins with the hash symbol. The hash defined directive is specially used to establish a constant that can be used throughout the program. Each time the compiler comes across this name, it substitutes it with the corresponding defined code. The example is hash define pi 3.141. Here it defines that the value of pi is 3.141. Next, global declaration. The global declaration section includes global variables, function declarations, and static variables. Any variables and functions defined in this area can be accessed throughout the entire program. Example, integer var equal to 10. Here the var is a global variable with the value 10. And then integer sum of integer comma integer. Here sum is a function used globally. Then main function. Every C program is required to include a main function. This section contains the main function where the program's operations such as declaration, execution take place within the curly braces. The main function can have a return type of either integer or void. When you use void main, it indicates to the compiler that the program won't return any value. On the other hand, integer main informs the compiler that the program will return an integer value. Next, subroutines. In this part of the program, user-defined functions are invoked. When these functions are called from the main function or from outside of it, the program's control transfers to the function being called. These functions are created based on the specific needs of the programmer. Here is an example. Here, this is the single line comment. This line is commented, and this line is not be compiled. This is the multi-line comment. Here all the lines are ignored in the compiler section. It is the preprocessor section. It first includes the standard input-output header file before the compilation. Next, definition. Here we define the pi as 3.141. Here is the global declaration. One is function declaration, which is area, which returns float, and argument is void. And another variable, that is radius, with integer data type with data 2. Then integer main. It is the main function. The actual program starts here and ends here. Then printf area. And here is the function we are called. The definition of the area, the definition of the function is here, which is called subprogram or subroutine. Here we return the pi into radius into radius. Let's compile and run it. Here is the value. The area is 12.564 and the return value is 0. As we have written here, the return 0. So it returns the 0 value to the command prompt. Now, what are the steps of a program runs on the computer? Computers are likely digital assistants that follow the simple process. They take data from the user by keyboard or mouse and operates on that data and then shows you the result. To do this, the computer needs a place to store things temporarily, just like user uses Notepad. This temporary storage spot are RAM and register. Here the memory unit. Here the data are stored. And what is the conclusion? First is variable declaration. It is used to set up space to hold the data. Second, input data to that variable. It asks you for some data. Third, do operation with that variable. It does some operations with that data. Then output the processed data from the variable. It tells you the answer. In a C program, there are 4 types of operation. One is variable declaration, then input data to that variable, and do operation with that variable, and output the processed data from the variable. Okay. As we know, the computer is a input processing output device or IPO device. It only inputs data from the user, process with that data, and output that data. To manipulate with the data, we have to store the data virtually, either in register memory or in RAM. So we have to first declare a variable which occupies memory from the RAM or register. Then we have to input data from the user to that variable. Then you have to operate that variable data. Then after processing the data, we have to display that.